penalties, but 500 quid. It's going to hit you hard when you're a young fella, 500 quid. They still won't learn though, will they?
Oh, 6 months' wages is that, I think, for these young riders. Yeah, but no, it was happening so frequently though that the championship organisers done. They had to do something really serious to stop it from happening. There's over 30 riders in Moto3, and if people are in the middle of the track in a really precarious position with the undulation on a track like Saxon Ring, it can be really dangerous.
Well, there's your front row, Canet, Mir, Belega. Before we hand to comms, JT, how's it going to go?
I think Johan Mir, he's been so fantastic. All the championship leaders here, Johan Mir, Morbidelli and Dovizioso as well, they've all been very, very strong. But for me, Moto3, it's going to be Johan Mir.
Well, here we go. 27 laps to make up the 99 kilometres of this race on a 3.6 kilometre circus. To talk us through it all, Julian Ryder and Keith Ewan. Good morning, gents.
Good morning, Craig. Good morning, James. Good morning, Gav. Good morning, Neil. Good morning, everybody at home that's homed in on this Saxon Ring race, which, remarkably, still a little cool, but the sun is out. John McPhee from row 4 has got to be the big question. Danny Kent, unfortunately, should have been on row 6 in 16th place, but he's been put right the way back to row 10. 12th place penalty for him. So Danny Kent has got a lot of work to do, and in dry conditions I just feel that is going to be a bridge far too far. 27 laps, 61 miles, 132 mile an hour on the straight they're on right now and about to kick off from. Maria Herrera right on the very back row as well. She copped a 12th place penalty, although she only qualified in 29th place anyway, so she hasn't had to go quite as far back as Danny Kent, but still a back row start for her is going to be tough to overcome. If you're looking at turn 1, Jules, if I can just get it, and there's turn 11 to the left of your picture. That's probably the last time you're going to see it from that shot. That turn 11, the right-hander for the riders, but it looks like a left-hander for us there, is a really, really difficult corner. And on the opening lap here, when this lot are flying down there, absolutely flat out on a Moto3, you can't afford to get hooked up with anybody.
And even on a Moto3 bike, once you've got round turn 1, Keith, it's one line really, as you can see, just about all the way round to past turn 11, going down that long downhill straight to the Saxon curve.
Got 7 left-hand corners where you're properly on it. I mean, there's even a talk of some riders getting a little bit of crest because they have to hang in these left-handers you're looking at now that they're all floating their way through. 7 left-handers before you turn right and drop off the edge of the cliff at turn 11. And that is a real tough ask. So, tyre temperature, we've heard how the Dunlops have perhaps been a bit conservative. They brought the harder versions for both Moto2 particularly and Moto3 as well. So we'll be keeping an eye on how tyre wear is going to work out. The man that's on pole, Aaron Kennett, the last 2 times he's been on pole, he's not scored a point. There is Jorge Martin, of course, watching at that massive off at turn 1. A real shame for the man in 4th place in the championship at the moment.
Pole king.
Oh, absolutely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I know he had 6. He's only started from 5 because he had one of them took away. But at the end of the day, 6 pole positions and really looking good. But
the win was coming. The win is coming in the second half of the year, as James said.
I'm amazed he hasn't had one.
You and me both.
Track temperature is up. Once the sun gets through the clouds here, the track temperature comes up and changes everything. 27 degrees is pretty good, actually, looking at that. It was only 18 degrees last year, but it was wet as well, so really difficult. Philip Oertel, by the way, just to keep the Germans in check, 3rd row starter for him. The last German Grand Prix winner as a German here was Cortese back in 2012. So Philip Oertel in Moto3 looking to do it for Germany, of course, in his home Grand Prix. That is the best looking grid we have had, weather-wise, all weekend so far.
Definitely.
Pole position then, Aaron Kennett. Alongside him, Johan Mir, not yet won from the front row. There's a stat for you. And Belega looking for his first win. That's your front row. Under orders when the lights go out. Moto3 German Grand Prix is underway. Kennett gets a great start. So does Johan Mir. Up to turn 1 now. It's over the hill. You can't see the apex at all. It's round the corner. And already the number 14 has come into play. Arbolino. Arbolino slots into 2nd place. Pushes out Kennett. Kennett goes back to 4th place now as we drop through these pretty much one-line corners.
All the way down. John McPhee got away even. That's still about 10th, I think, Keith. Yeah, he's in 10th to the first leg.
But Johan Mir already from the middle of the front row is right on it. But look who he's being chased by. Ramirez has come through. Ramirez from the 2nd row as well. So Marcos Ramirez, from his best qualifying so far in his career, is right there in 2nd place. They were asking earlier on in the week whether he was going to get his first podium at the weekend. Wow.
In his short career as well, Keith. He is a relative novice in Ramirez.
He's going to be all over Mir. He's going to look to to lead this first lap. Ramirez, you know, he's a tough one. Him and his teammate on the Platinum Bay real estate bike, that is, of course, Darren Binder. But Ramirez has got an absolute flyer here, and he's not going to wait long, is he? As we go to turn 11 for the first time, off the top of the cliff, and that is the 14 coming through of Arbolino, Tony Arbolino on the Simoncelli bike. And down to turn 12, up the inside, Fanati comes Ramirez. Ramirez has taken the lead, Julian. That's the one to watch.
And I was watching behind. Fanati took third.
I always prefer first place, and it is Ramirez that's got it into the final turn of 13. Fanati's fighting, he's in third, but it is going to be the man that leads across the line. Ramirez on the 42 machine. Platinum Bay Real Estate will be going nuts. Bit of a slipstream up this front straight, 132 miles an hour at about this point. They use top gear very, very briefly. Joan Mir goes back to the front. Fanati rides round the outside. How many times do we see use the outside line? Fanati's brilliant out there on the berm.
McPhee made that one place, 9th over the line.
Arbolino in fourth. Can it? Your pole sitter back in 5th place at this moment in time. He's dropped to 6th now because Bullegger's just beaten him up. And there goes Fanati. Fanati flies through on Mir. So the number 5 for Fanati. I don't know how he got to start where he got to start from, to be honest, because we saw him dawdling around this racetrack. I was convinced race direction were going to give him a place penalty.
You and me both.
But they didn't, and he's out front. So Fanati looking to try and make capital of this as he can. How many changes have we had on the opening 2.2 miles? It's only 2.2 miles around this racetrack.
Well, Fanati round the outside at turn 1, then on the inside at the Omega.
Outstanding. So Romano Fanati, Rocket Rom, is out front.
And a big shout for Tony Arbolino at the sharp end.
And he's been there throughout this opening race. Indeed, here goes Mir. Turn 12 gets under Fanati. Blimey, early already fighting this hard on second lap of 27, I remind you, is the shortest track on the calendar. So we've got more laps than ever. Great entertainment, I feel. Up the hill then, onto the front straight.
That's Bulliger on the end of the grid, so there were 2 KTM. Then a bit of elbow.
Hey, let's get stuck in, shall we? Fanati, fastest lap for him. But Mir's the man that leads down into turn 1. Where's McPhee? I can see Binder. I'm looking for McPhee.
Over the line in way back 21st.
He's been beaten up, hasn't he, on this upgrade? Mind you, there's a lot of pushing and shoving going on in these little 250cc 4-strokes. Back down the hill we go to the Omega curve, which is a long, long, long right-hander all the way round.
Danny Kent's in 28th, so is a jump start of its young Pulkkinen. The Finn, the poor lad who's got that.
He's the youngest man in any of the fields this weekend, so Paolo Pulkkinen, I'll say it properly for him in a moment, if you like. Patrick Pulkkinen on the Saxo Prince Peugeot cops himself a whole load of trouble.
Fanati pulled a few bike lengths.
Did that last time. And then he got
this sector and then got
Mir.
5th and final man of this leading group, and they've got a gap now over Canet, Suzuki and Binder.
Yeah, it seems to be a fair shout between Honda and KTM at the moment. Ramirez on a KTM looking at the rear, Mir on a Honda, and Mir pulling the KTM along down into turn 1. And I wait for a moment. It's a late-ish apex there as well, but you're coming over a hill when you approach it. Great heli shots we're getting as well here. Bullegger, keep an eye on him in 5th place at the moment. Canet has slipped back to 6th place and dropping off the pace a little bit.
Just a bit. Under serious pressure from Suzuki, Binder, Bastianini in the group.
Yeah, we've got a 5-bike break, which 4-bike break at the moment at the front, and then where is Bullegger? Oh, there he is. He's still right on there. Then we've got the break, haven't we? So a 5-bike break over Canet now. It's
10th over the line in 25th. Just past Maria Herrera that lap.
Watch for the jump start.
At the back.
Yeah. They don't miss it, even if you're at the back.
No, they don't. There's no mercy, is there?
There is none. Race direction have got it covered on each of the lines. Mino, we're on board. We're looking back at 4 of Pulkkinen. Well, he got a ride-through penalty for a jump start, and he very nearly didn't make turn 1. Flipping the rear wheel. Oh, Mino, what's he doing down in? He's on the 8th row of the grid, Mino did, a number 16.
And he's 22nd over the line this time round, behind Bezecchi and in front of Toba. And now Ramirez leads.
Yes, again, Ramirez led the first lap. He's looking to do it all. Ramirez be a great move.
A sensible move.
On all fronts. He is feisty though, Darren Binder. I do like to think of the young guy.
He's so the teenager when you talk to him off a bike.
Still it is Mir from from Ramirez, from Bullegger, who's looking very calm.
Bullegger at the early part of the lap and into turn 1 is really making time up, and now Arbolino is looking like he can't quite act the pace of the big boy.
They're in the 27s, which as the fuel load drops off, we're not going to have any tyre wear problems, we're told. 3 abreast then. Oh! Hang on a minute, and here comes Fanati round the outside. He certainly does like
that. There was a man, and there's Guevara making a move on Binder.
Number 58, Guevara, has gone by, and Suzuki is next to try and pull it over Binder. Back at the front, onto the front straight. Fanati, Ramirez. Now it's Bulliger trying to get some kind of toe up this short straight.
And you know that kid I said was over and done with?
Yeah.
He's not. Look at the group behind him.
Tony Arbolino is growing in stature. He's bounced out a bit wide though. He came in there a bit hot, Jules. That's why Arbolino went behind Bulliger.
McPhee has crashed. McPhee has crashed out.
But perfectly okay, apart from what it's doing to his brain. That wasn't 11, was it? No, 13. The final corner. That's unusual. We're on board with him now. This is John McPhee. So down, he gets down behind it, pops up now into 13, the final corner on the track, it goes uphill, lost the front end on the way in on the brakes, so trail braking his way in, just dived out from underneath him.
There was an incident early on where he dropped from the top 10 way back to the 20s. We don't know what happened.
Started on the 4th row of the grid in 10th place.
He was trying to make time up, obviously make places up, very tricky around here.
There's a reason why we have qualifying, is to get yourself as far forward on the grid as you can, so you try and avoid all of that. And John McPhee
is the wisest thing you've said all weekend.
And unfortunately, McPhee found himself with a little bit of a job to do, and then he had an even bigger one by the time he ended that first lap.
Every time I think Ramirez has got that, Fanati rides round the outside of him here. Oh, he's wise to it this time.
Ramirez has got it covered up into John McPhee's corner now, 13, and sweeping around the outside. Ramirez and Arbolino bangs it under Bulliger.
Yeah, up the inside, the young kid.
Onto the front straight then, up to 130 odd mile an hour now, depending on how much of a tow you're getting. It's only a 0.4 of a mile straight. This one is a pretty short straight, up the hill and over the hill, looking for that braking area. And there used to be a kicker just there that used to throw the back wheel in the air on the brakes. They've ironed it out when they've resurfaced this place before we all got here. In fact, to the point where these guys have had no wet practice. Luckily, the warm-up this morning was absolutely... well, it was damp. It wasn't absolutely wet, so it was declared a wet practice. So even if it had rained today...
Problem avoided.
Yeah, problem avoided. It was going to be a problem, but it turned into a non-problem. Look at that skyline, the best we've had all week so far. Will it stay? Hopefully. Fingers crossed, yes. Everyone. Fanati we're looking from, Ramirez we're looking at, 19 laps to go. In fact, we are looking at Joan Mir out front, on the number 36. Joan Mir, not yet won from the front row. Now there's a stat that I didn't think I'd have to read out. He started in the middle of the front row this weekend. Where's Danny Kent at the minute? Let's take a look down the order.
24th. He's just done his best lap of the race.
27.9, which is quicker than the leaders.
Quicker than the leaders, Keith.
So Danny Kent is on the pace. It's all a question of whether he can do anything from 28th on the grid, 10th row.
Well, he's 9.7 seconds behind Ramirez over the line that time round.
I'd have fancied his chances a bit more if it had been wet. Just me saying. Just more opportunity, perhaps. Perhaps only to crash, but who knows. So, the front 5 are over the line. We look to see the gap back to 6th place. It's 4.2 seconds. And the man there is Ertl. That's going to be really tough to bridge that gap. But the thing with Ertl is, to do it on his own. We've seen it.
He has. It's taken fractions out of it, Keith, but not enough to convince you even with 18 laps to go. I think he's going to bridge it.
He may have been interfered with by 1 or 2 other Moto3 riders, though. If he can just get a little bit of a lap or two and a rhythm going, Ertl's just your man.
Last time round, he did have a clear lap. He had a few bike lengths on the brawl behind him.
Well, he just took a tenth out of it in that first sector, Jules.
Right, so there's hope. Let's say there's hope for the local fans.
Lloyd slipped back behind Ben Schneider at 12th and 13th at the moment.
Antonio was making rapid progress with the group, but he's gone back to 14th.
Danny Kent, where is he? Let's have a look.
Danny Kent is 23rd. He's just gone past Alan Porter.
Ertl lost time in that sector, so overall at the line, which is my usual rule, that's where it counts. Ertl is toing and froing on his lap, compared with his times to the top 5 of Bulliger now, who is in 5th place. Let's have a look again. Bulliger to Ertl. Has Ertl pinned any back, or has he lost time? Lost time, 900 or 95,000, if you like. There's Binder on 40. Gabriel Rodrigo right with him on 19.
Great fight this for the...
Suzuki and Canet. Canet, your pole man, has slipped to 11
down there.
Well, he's got his hands full, whatever it is.
Whatever it is. Yeah, he's been interfered with royally. There he is.
16 laps to go, 17 laps to go I should say, 16 laps to go next time around. Ramirez looks at the inside and pulls it tight at turn 1 for second place.
I want to apologise again to Arbolino for thinking he was over and done with a few laps ago. Keith, the kid is hanging on in there.
The thing is with youngsters, they learn every lap, Jules. That's the situation. If you've got a youngster that's not got huge experience, he's learning from everyone around him, and with a nice dry track with decent temperature in it, what a great environment.
It's his 9th Grand Prix. He did no wild cards, no replacement rides before he became a full-timer with Paolo Simoncelli's team this year. He has been mentored by Paolo Simoncelli for a good few years.
Well, it's obviously working. Whatever way you look at it, through the long left-handers, 7 of them sweeping round on the Moto3 bike before we get to flick right in just a moment. Here it comes. Ready, steady, go. Over the hill and down we go. Turn 11. When it's raining, it's known as the waterfall. Don't go off that track onto the green stuff too often. You're going to get a penalty. Breaking up the inside. Mir and Fanati, 36 and 5, with Ramirez third. On the 42.
That lad Ramirez deserves a podium at the least.
And it was speculated on by the BT Sport team during the course of this weekend. Was it going to be the first weekend we saw Ramirez on it? And let me block your board.
It's all part of the game.
It's all part of the game. Arbolino, nice tight line, but no, it's Bulega still in 4th place.
Ertl with a clear track, Keith, has lost nearly half a second that time round.
Must have made a mistake then, because he was properly on the pace, to and fro by tenths in different sectors. So perhaps a mistake from Ertl that time. Guevara hasn't been able to take advantage of it.
But Guevara is less than a second behind him.
Oh, there's a dodgy. There's Paolo Simoncelli on the left-hand side. I was looking at the...
Well, his riders in the leading 5 and his other one, Suzuki, in the pursuing group.
I was looking at the man in the blue jacket. Julian's not going there. It is still out front. Mia from Fanati. From Ramirez. All eyes on the 14 at the back of this group. This could be a remarkable ride for Tony Arbolino.
Best finish so far, Keith. 14th in the Argentinian Grand Prix.
It's going to be a fair old jump if he manages to stay where he is.
Isn't it just?
I've got the other set of fingers crossed for him, I think.
Just looking at his qualifying, which was in the 20s until Catalunya when he went 13th, then 8th in Assen and 5th here. So you could say the kid is getting a grip.
16 years old.
To be a Grand Prix rider.
Only 16 years old, and everything is a learning curve, isn't it? A massive learning curve. Takes a long, now that's a very clever look. Takes a long look over his shoulder there to see what's coming up the hill between 12 and 13, because it's critical. He needs to know how much breathing space he's got there in 5th place. Quite a lot at the moment, and Ertl, keep an eye on that time that Ertl does. He's just done a 28.1, which is still... It's 2/10 slower than Arbolino in 5th place.
So the gap is
losing time.
Stretching.
Yeah, indeed it is. Not in this case, it's not.
All sorts going on around here. That's Cornfall on the Mahindra in the middle of the group. Just gone past Ben Schneider.
Canet has now slipped behind Di Antonio to 14th place. He's only on 2 points.
Blimey, that'll really send, if we put the flag out now.
Because Canet is second in the championship.
It's going to be
30 points behind Mir.
It's going to be a 40-odd point lead that Mir goes to the holidays with. Oh, and he wants them all.
All 25. We're talking about Mir out front on 36 and on the braking area over the top of the crest of the hill. Doesn't show you how much that crest is from our camera, but believe me, it is.
Bulega makes up time into turn 1 on the brakes, doesn't he?
Arbolino's not far off it either.
He's just doing what Bulega does.
When you brake, I will. Mir, it would be 41 points if it ended like this from Fanati. Canet will be the man that slips to 3rd in the championship if it finishes right now as it is. Jorge Martin, unfortunately, would still be 4th, but a considerable deficit. All he can do is watch from inside the pit garage on the monitors. Sweeping to the lower end of the track. Great slow-mo.
Isn't it?
Look at Ramirez's style. He's up on that bike like he's motocrossing.
Standing on the pegs.
Yeah.
Backside off the seat.
Mir, you can never see much of Mir. He just, everything is...
He's under the paintwork most of the time.
And then when he gets to the braking area, he springs out from behind everything.
And Fanati is just built for the job, little, pugnacious.
Oh, Ramirez does. He isn't scared, is he?
Ramirez, not of anything, not even of Fanati.
No, Marcos Ramirez then. sticks it under Fanati. Fanati says, okay, here we go again. Then part at turn 13, the final corner on the track.
And Boulaga,
has
again
dropped.
in this part of the track,
Has dropped the 14 of Arbolino now. Arbolino just finding this pace. They're inconsistent 27s apart from Mia, who then fell back into the 28.
So who's in the 27s? Bastianini in 9th is the answer to that.
Yeah, or Fanati, Ramirez, Bulega and Arbolino.
And there's Bastianini in the middle of that 3 making a move.
I'll tell you what, feet off the foot pegs there.
Suzuki.
Absolutely, the young Japanese finding himself with a lack of grip, feet ready for the bailout. This is pretty hectic, isn't it?
It is typical Moto3.
Yeah, but a little spread out to the 5 at the front. They've made the break which they needed to make, otherwise this lot will be all over them. They're all pulling similar times. We're looking at the 24 of Suzuki. And Suzuki in 7th place at the moment.
Yeah, the gap from
There's Ertl. Ertl has managed to gap them, but he's still not going
still
quick enough.
losing. He's 5.4 seconds behind Arbolino.
To the front 5.
So it's all stretching out.
He's actually satisfied all of our comments. He's doing exactly what we said he would do, is pull away from the people that behind him,
But he's not.
but he's not bridging the gap.
Yeah.
It's going to be a lonely race for the German.
He is in 6th at the moment. Here's the front 5, and Arbolino is now
Dropping off just slightly. Let's have a look at these times when they come to start with 12 laps to go as they come to the hill. Just at the top of the hill here is the line that breaks the timing beam. Mir, Fanati, Ramirez, Bulega, Arbolino. Who's going to pop out and do the braking number this time? Fanati's left it really late, but still not as late. Here comes Bulega. Bulega does Ramirez.
Those are the 2 KTMs. 2 Hondas at the front.
Arbolino. Danny Kent down. Where is the question? 3. Easy to do. That is the Omega curve. That long. Well, it's like an Omega. You know what it looks like?
Yes, capital Omega.
Ramirez under a lot of pressure now from Bulega. Again. And he's a big lad, Bulega. Really, really long in the chassis department.
Fanati. Again, flexing his left hand. He got cramped or something. Mia. Like a jack in the box, as you say, Keith, and then straight across the nose of Fanati.
Can it? Is that the 3rd time he's had a pole and hasn't scored a point? Yes, it is.
It is, Keith.
So turn 12, easy done in the braking at the bottom of this hill. We're on board with him. He's going to do this on his own, isn't he, by the look of it? Front end. See, that swapped end quite quick. So,
Is he going to blame somebody, or is he just...
No. Himself, I think.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, waiting for his man to come round, and he'll realise from his monitor when he steps back.
Will they tell Mia that Canet's out?
Emilio Altamora there, almost a blank face. You won't get much. He's good at poker.
Oh, you wouldn't play Emilio at that.
So Canet, the 2nd man in the championship, 30 points away. Oh, there it is, the confirmation then. Canet will be 55 points off of Mia. But Fanati at the moment, the flag came out, it'll be 37, but if he goes in front, he'll have another 5. He's gone in front now. Fanati out front. Well, I'll tell you what, the veteran of Moto3, Romano Fanati, the bad boy of Moto3, and half a season sat out.
And I'm absolutely delighted to say I've got to correct myself again. Every time I think Arbolino's going to slide back towards the pack, there he is, right in time.
I get the feeling that the others are going back to him. At this moment in time, we'll check out the times across the line.
Yeah,
they're all in
28.
They're in 28. Front two are in 27.
And he's passed Bulega. Arbolino's got Bulega.
So it's Bulega beginning to fade very slightly. So these are a very intriguing Moto3 race. Can't really read this too well.
Arbolino's on the move.
Again, got to check lap times from Arbolino. He was in 27s, the 2 in front of him was slower than that across the line on an overall lap of this 2.2 mile
the
track.
leaders last time round, Arbolino was the quickest of the 5.
That's what I just said. He's the one in 27s. Still waiting for Arbolino. He's young, he won't run out of breath. He's determined.
Yes.
He's learning every lap. Tricky track this place though.
Yeah, nothing to lose.
Yeah.
Nothing to lose.
And everything to gain. Absolutely, just to complete that. Mir Fanati. just getting away from Ramirez, and Bullega wants another look back at Arbolino.
Who's not having it.
Well, you've got to say up the side, two of them. Arbolino may just have...
Well, an aero advantage, you'd say, wouldn't you?
Perhaps.
Given Bullega is so lanky.
9 laps to go as we get up over the first part of the hill at the front straight here. Fanati. Mir stuck right in behind him. Slipstream here, always a help wherever you are, but with the little tiny 4.4 of a mile straight, uphill as well, it strains the horsepower of these little 250s.
27s again for the top three, in fact the top four. Only Bullega are the leaders out of the 27s and into the 28s. That was Canet in the pits, yes.
Yeah. The man who sat on pole, and for the third time he's been on pole for recent time, 0 points. Yeah, that's going to play with his head, isn't it?
Yeah, well, that was earlier this year, wasn't it, in Texas, when he was on for 25 points.
And he looked
You'd have put the mortgage on it.
He really would have, and he looked so good. And Valencia, I think, last
year ended up 19th.
Out of the
He had
point.
to start from pit lane though there, so there may be an excuse.
Mir. Yeah, he's qualified on pole,
yes.
But you're right, he did start from pit lane, didn't he? So that was a
there
bit
was
more
a
justifiable.
distinction to be put in there, Keith.
Over turn 11. Down the dip to turn 12, into the braking area. Fanati looking business-like, blast past Mir.
Never
But
mind.
Fernandez looked for the gap as well. If there was one there, he was going to go for it.
Never mind Ramirez for the podium, Ramirez for the win.
Who's your money on then, Jules?
I don't know.
I've got a proper Fanati feeling here. He looks proper
He looks
feisty.
like he means it, he really does, but you are betting against, I still think, the class of this field.
Fanati, remember, third place in the championship at the moment. He will go second clearly now that Aaron Canet is out.
But he needs to take points off the championship leader, and that is the man in front of him, Joan Mir.
And he needs to finish.
Exactly.
Three of these guys.
Second in the last.
Oh, Arbolino. Sorry, Jules. Arbolino launched the rear end there and fired himself in the air. Just as Jules looked down at his paper, Arbolino jumped off big style. So Tony Arbolino, the 16-year-old, has gone down at turn 2. The penalty didn't fit the crime there. I feel so sorry for him, because I'm sure everyone else at home does as well. So the doctor's bail comes out. Take a look at this. He bailed out all right. Well, we don't see it from that shot, but he comes into shot.
Oh,
big. Sits him some bit of toxic shock there, straight through the backside. So not what you need. Oh, looks even worse from the heli shot. We're a long way away from it. So dropping down. Paolo Simoncelli. Impassive, you must say, because his rider is perfectly okay. Jumps out of fourth place. Gives Bullega the place back. But he wants a bit of this if he can. But I've got to say, Romano Fanati, Joan Mir, and that...
this is a tough fight, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, the hot number 42, Ramirez, on the Platinum Bay Real Estate KTM,
should now get that debut podium.
KTM are certainly going to be jumping up and down,
aren't they? Well, that team have really rescued KTM's reputation in this past year.
Oh, Ramirez, surely not from back there.
He was having to think about it, wasn't he?
The other two had got slightly tangled up. There's Ertl, he's getting away from that big bunch head by Bo Benschneider
a long way
now.
away from them, Keith, but he's 7 seconds behind the leaders.
Bastianini slides under Lloyd. Suzuki follows through.
That's Jules and Nilo in that pack as well. Darren
95.
Binder. That's all go.
Yeah, Darren Binder sort of bounced off of it a bit, hasn't he?
Just a bit.
But he'll be back.
Oh, yes.
7 laps to go. Plenty of time to sort this particular fight out. 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and I think Rodrigo's on the back of it as well.
Ertl's put 3 seconds on this group.
Yeah, well, you said it already.
You said it already, yeah.
Very, very good at working on his own and getting a rhythm sorted out. This lot are all tripping each other up, which is going to steady him up just a fraction. But Ertl's time, looking across at my monitor here, 28.8 compared with the 27s of all three in front. As Fanati flying on that very wide line. He really has just worked something out, hasn't he?
He has, but you saw Ramirez, such a tighter line there. Graphic shot.
Final corner. 6 laps to go. Here is Bo Benschneider fighting with Bastianini now. If ever there was a man who needed a result, it's Bastianini.
That's the fight for 6th place now.
Still in 5th place now that we've had Arbolino launch himself out of this is Ertl. Here is the fight for the front though. Joan Mir on the inside, round the outside, number 5, Romano Fenati, but still there menacingly. Blue flag being waved. That's for the back marker in the middle of, in the way of, I should say, Bullegger. These guys had already cleared it. It's a good drive and a wheelie coming out of Fenati as well. It's absolutely on the gas, Fenati. Just looks like he can put that Honda anywhere where he wants it.
I do love these Moto3 bikes.
Well, I don't blame you. Great class to start our day with. And this is going to be one of those intriguing races. Bullegger well off the pack now in 4th place.
Yeah, that's a 1 3/4 second gap.
And he was in the 28th last time round, well, they all were actually the front row. There was only a 10th between all 4 of the front runners. You only really need to lose touch, and that could be the end of it for you. Tyre looks great.
Dunlop's, as you said, not worried about this new surface.
Although that was the right-hand side, and that's the one that gets the least stick. Ramirez slots the eye of the needle and slides into 2nd place underneath Fenati.
That's not what Romano needs.
Well, I don't think it matters
too much.
Time to
go, though, Keith. Time to go.
Yeah, plenty of time as they come round. 5 laps to go when they raise the crest of this hill. Mir, Ramirez, Fenati over the line. On towards turn 1. Bullegger, we wait for him to complete the time 2 seconds further back on the number 8 bike. Herrera is back out on track. That's who you can see that the blue flag was being waved for. The number 6, I think that was, of Maria Herrera.
I think so, Keith. She did go into the pits.
Question is, and Jules is now reaching across for the Dunlop options. Did somebody say to us that Fenati was running a softer tyre? Did he say to us he was running a softer tyre?
Just looking, there is one man.
Because the harder options weren't going to give any trouble at all. You can see the way they've almost re-tarmacked this place like they cut your lawn. Have you noticed that?
Yes.
It's got lovely stripes in it, hasn't it? Mir, Ramirez, Fenati. Jules is looking up the Dunlop sheet now while I speak, just to see exactly what Fenati is running on that.
Yeah, Romano Fenati is the only one. 2 have gone for the medium as opposed to the hard rear tyre.
So the softer option, well, that's contradictory to the fact he's running a medium, but it is
perfectly proper English. It's the softer comparative adjective option.
Ertl, we're looking at now. Ertl still in a lonely 5th place. 7, what was he? Something like 7 seconds off the pace.
7, nearly 8 now.
Yeah, nearly 8. Here we go then. Bo Benschneider weeds for one side of the track. There's Livio Loy, and there's Bastianini underneath him and forcing his way through his Suzuki as well on the number 24 machine.
I think we should give a shout out to the whole of the 658 Squadra Corsa. Suzuki and Arborillo, a new team for this year, doing brilliantly.
Yes, I agree with you there, but I've got to say the most improved team has got to be Platinum Bay Real Estate.
I'm not arguing with you on
There's
that
Darren
one.
Binder, the other one, in the number 40 in the middle of that little pack. He's yet to try and pick up a 6th place if he can, as we see Benschneider back in front of Bastianini and Suzuki on 24, and Lawyer's dropped back a place as well.
Antonio's in there. I thought he was making progress early on. It stopped pretty quickly.
Norridin and Cornfile have swapped places for the last point. 15th place.
Norridin is showing real sparks.
Really unlucky at Assen to fall down on.
In other places, I would say, Keith. I'm impressed with young Adam Norridin.
2 bends from the end, and he's battling with Jakob Cornfile on the Peugeot. No Mahindras next year. Mahindras have pulled out to go electric car racing. No accounting for taste, is there? 36, Mir from Ramirez. Now it's Ramirez from Mir. So, has he managed to pull it to the apex? Yes, he has. So, Mir goes back to 2nd place. Fenati on the softer option tyre.
Was he looking back?
He was, but he just wants to check who's going to be attacking him. Look at this.
That's the Platinum Bay, boys.
Yeah, and gone to KTM this year from Mahindra last year, and it has worked for them something like spectacularly. Over the line, 3 laps to go.
And this lad Ramirez, who was 2nd in the Junior World Championship last year, let's not forget.
Runs it for that late apex. There's a very late apex there. They just asked for the brakes all the way in and just looked like they missed the corner and then picked that apex up, and someone rams it up the inside. Well, you said it earlier, Jules. He's not just interested in the podium, he's interested in the top step on it.
And he's gapped these 2 just a little bit.
Well, maybe the KTM just works a bit different to the Honda in that area. That's the great trick about this track, isn't it? It's about where the Hondas work, where the KTM work. There's a tiny, fine difference between both manufacturers, really, in real terms.
Yeah, it is absolutely tiny, but it will be different at this level. Pressing again as you down the hill into the waterfall. Mir is superb.
He really is. And all these left-handers, 32 seconds or thereabouts, they are running on the left-hand side of the tyre than they are for the right-hand side after all that heat in the left-hand side. At this place, onto the right-hand side, here comes Fanati, and we know he's good on the brakes, but he's going to have to go the long way round. Mir goes back to the front, Ramirez second, Fanati stays third. That's turn 12, Saxon curve, and now we're up to the final turn, and Fanati's riding on the curb to try and go around the outside. Gets a good cutback though. Looks for the inside line now as he drives up the hill, side by side with Ramirez. Honda versus KTM. Who's it going to be in the braking area? Wait for when the forks dive. Bang. Down goes Fanati on the brakes. Looks good on the brakes. Looks very stable, the Honda on the brakes. Into that turn one.
That wide line suits Fanati so well.
Sweeps to the late apex at turn one. Then we go down Arbolino's corner, which was turn two on the left-hand side. Then it's the long right-hander at the bottom of the turn three. Then we start up for all those lefts. 4, 5, 6, 7. Then it's a little bit of a straight, if you like, on towards 8. And then it all gets quicker and quicker and quicker. That's 8 there. The amount of people we've seen go off the track at that place. Through 9 kink. 10's next. And now it's the build-up.
Yeah, to the last lap. I don't know. I have no clue. I think Fanati is the favourite. Do you?
No, Mir's the favourite possibly. Fanati though is the fly in the ointment, but on that reckoning it's going to be Ramirez. So as we build up down to Saxon curve, through goes Fanati then. That's the penultimate corner of the lap. Then we build towards 13 and up the hill onto the last lap they come. Fanati lead from Joan Mir from Marcus Ramirez. An absolutely fantastic ride from Marcus Ramirez. The Platinum Bay Real Estate KTM is just a little bit off the back of these two Hondas as they drive up onto the front straight. For the last time, it will be a battle. Believe me, this is not over. The braking area is into possibly 12. As Fanati got it bouncing on the front, but Mir wasn't there to take any advantage. In fact, Fanati looks like he's pulled the pin. Did he have something in hand?
No, surely.
That medium tyre, is it giving him a small advantage? I think it's just Romano Fanati.
Well, if anything, I mean, it's obviously it's working the tyres with him on this last lap. So the fact is that there's nothing wrong with that medium Dunlop at all. You might say that these two have picked the wrong ones, going for the harder option.
That's what I was edging towards.
But there's a lot of overlap as well. This racetrack, brand new surface. Nobody really knew what they needed when they got here.
Look at Mir around here.
From Mir around here. You could be Essex, you know. Carry on. Fanati from Mir.
That KTM didn't run up the hill quite the way the Hondas did it last time?
No, but the braking area down towards turn 12, that's where Fanati and Mir and Ramirez, they're all very, very good, which gives me a real worrying point, I must say. So, 11 we go. This is the last lap. Last time they drop off the waterfall. It's down towards the braking point into turn 12. Mir is lining himself up as he can. Fanati's on the outside. Mir goes to the front. Can he pull it down to the line? Is he going to take the two of them out and let Ramirez through? I wonder. No, he isn't. Through the left hand, and now there's the last braking point on the track. It's here for 13. Mir's got it sorted, surely. He's just got to drive up the hill, though. But look at Fanati. Fanati's got great drive. Will he be able to pull him to the line? I doubt it, because it's just here. Mir wins from Fanati from Ramirez. Ramirez gets it on the podium. What a fantastic finish to the Moto3 race. But I have to say, Ertl as well has driven brilliantly. Over the line has already gone Bullegger in 4th place. Ertl